The Czech Air Force, officially the Army of the Czech Republic Air Force, is the Air Force branch of the Army of the Czech Republic. Along with the land forces, the Air Force is the major Czech military force. Former Joint Forces Command and Support Forces Command HQs were disbanded by June 30, 2013. The Czech Air Force succeeded the Czechoslovak Air Force together with the Slovak Air Force in 1993. The Air Force is responsible for securing the integrity of the Czech Republic's airspace through the NATO Integrated Air and Missile Defense System, close air support to the land forces and for transportation tasks including government and state priority flights. In peacetime the Air Force is contributing to tasks originating in the Czech laws and interministerial agreements, for example to the Air Ambulance Service or the SAR role. Czech JAS-39CD Gripen multi-role fighters fulfill primarily the tasks related to the air defense of the Czech Republic and the NATO within the system of NATONAMDS. In the so-called National Reinforcement System the subsonic L-159A jets could be deployed to fulfill this task too. The radar surveillance of the airspace of the Czech Republic is a responsibility of the 26th Air Command, Control and Surveillance Regiment at Stara Boleslav. Altogether 7 radio technical companies are spread around the country so that they can continuously cover its whole territory. History First years The separation saw a large reduction in types, numbers and bases. In 1994, 3rd Corps of Tactical Aviation was created. The newest fighter in the Czechoslovak Air Force arsenal was the MiG-29. As there was only one general maintenance kit, which was given to newly created Slovak Republic, and all the material was split 1-1 with Slovakia, maintenance costs for the Czech fulcrums would be too high. Along with the unreasonably high costs, speculative costs for spare parts imported from Russia, which were realized through third-party companies, led to exchange of 10 MiG-29s with Poland for PZLW-3A Soka Cube Langstrom rescue helicopters with avionics and ground support. Therefore 10 air superiority fighters were exchanged for 11 light helicopters and this acquisition became a strongly discussed affair around the half of 90s. The burden of readiness squadron passed to the MiG-23s. Those participated in air exercises with Western Air Forces, where MiG-23MLs were capable of outperforming Mirage 3, F-1C, and 2000 and F-4F in vertical maneuvering and acceleration and Mirage 3. F-1C and Phantom even in horizontal maneuvering, while being outperformed by F-16A in all aspects and by Mirage 2000 in horizontal maneuvering. As a moment of a birthday of a new era Air Force of the Czech Army there may be marked July 1, 1997 when the 3rd Corps of Tactical Aviation and the 4th Air Defense Corps were united. The members of both units have taken part in alliance actions after the Czech Republic entered NATO on March 12, 1999. The Air Force began to revise and update its doctrines and aircraft. Therefore, acquisition of a new, Western fighter was considered. MiG-23MFs were retired in 1994, MLs in 1998 and MiG-21s were re-established as an interim type for what was supposed to be a transition period before buying a new fighter which was selected to be Swedish JAS-39 Gripen multi-role fighter aircraft. Because of the devastating floods that hit the country during 2002 the deal was put off. 2000s A new international tender was issued for an interim solution. Gripen again won this tender among 6 different bidders as the Czech Republic accepted a government-to-government 10-year lease from Sweden that did not involve BAE Systems. Media allegations of BAE Systems kickbacks to decision-makers during the original sales effort have so far led nowhere in the judicial system. In December 2008, the Czech Air Force wanted to train helicopter pilots for desert conditions for the upcoming mission in Afghanistan. Israel was the only country that was ready to help out, as it saw this as an opportunity to thank the Czech Republic for training Israeli pilots and supporting Israel when it first became a state. The independence of the Czech Air Force was terminated on December 1, 2003 when the force became a part of newly established Joint Forces of the Czech Army with a command post located at Olomouc. Within the new structure the Air Force Commander-in-Chief was in a position of one of Joint Forces Chief Commander Deputy. 2010s The Air Force operated within this structure until June 30, 2013. Within the framework of the reorganization of the Army, the date of July 1, 2013 marked re-establishing of the independent High Command of the Czech Air Force headquartered in Prague with new Commander-in-Chief Brigadier General Libor Angstrom Tefernik. With the Gripen contract due to expire in 2015, speculation mounted about whether that leasing agreement will be renewed or another type of fighter plane chosen. The Czech government expected a tender to be organized to provide a force of 18 supersonic fighters after 2015. The JAS-39 Gripen was generally accepted as the most effective option owing to the existing infrastructure, the availability of trained personnel and previous good operational experience. However, the background of the existing contract specifically the broadly discussed issue of alleged corruption prevented politicians from settling for this quick solution, favoring instead a general tender with more bidders offering such types as the F-16, F-A-18, F-15SE or F-35A. The creation of a non-supersonic air force has also been discussed as an option, owing to the perceived high costs and limited usefulness of keeping supersonic assets in a country surrounded by allied countries. In this scenario, the subsonic L-159 would become the backbone of the Air Force. The latest 2011 White Book clearly states that the supersonic fleet is to be continued for the protection of the Czech Republic and for cooperation within the NATO integrated air defense system. On the other hand, a number of close support helicopters Me-24 will be decommissioned. 12 single-seat and 2 twin-seat aircraft are viewed as sufficient for patrolling the Czech Republic, while 18 can support the sentry role in other NATO countries. A preliminary RFI requested 18 aircraft. The White Book specifies the 12+2 solution, requiring strategic requirements for the Supersonic Air Force to be specified by November 2011. On May 16, 2014, the Director General of the Swedish Defence and Export Agency FXM and the Czech Deputy Defence Minister for Defence Acquisitions signed the Annex prolonging agreement of lease of the JAS-39 Gripen aircraft, ensuring also the continuous upgrading and increasing the capabilities of these machines. The Swedish supersonic aircraft will equip the Czech Air Force until 2027 with an option for further 2 years. According to the Czech Army, the Air Force's Yak-40s are due to retire between 2015 and 2017 and be replaced by CASA C-295s or another aircraft. Czech Defense Minister Martin Stropnicker one-half has unveiled plans to replace Soviet-designed military equipment with new weapons and to acquire helicopters and radars for the Czech Air Force, with tenders expected to be launched in 2015. CZAF NATO cooperation. Since the Czech Republic joined the NATO, the regular participation at a number of alliances' international exercises became a matter of course for the Czech Air Force. In 2009, the Czech Republic concluded an agreement regarding the cross-border collaboration and training with neighboring Germany. NATO Tiger Association In 2002, the NATO Tiger meet has been held at Portuguese Beja Air Base. The 331st Helicopter Squadron was honored there by proclaiming it as the full member of the NATO Tiger Association. The squadron also received the most prestigious trophy, the Silver Tiger. With new 221st Helicopter Squadron designation, the unit continues, rejuvenated by new incoming members, in Tiger tradition until today. After the deployment of new JAS-39 Gripen fighters in 2005, 4 Gripens took part in the NATO Tiger meet for the first time in 2008 at French land of Azayao. In 2010, the 211th Tactical Squadron has been accepted as the NATO Tiger Association full member at Volkel Air Base and it has been awarded by a Silver Tiger Trophy. AWACS In 2014, the Czech Republic became the 18th country taking part in the NATO Airborne Early Warning and Control Program. Taking part in that international initiative means for Czech Air Force members an active participation in AWACS operations. A participation on the NAW&C program will cost the Czech Republic some 90 million Czech korun a year. Foreign deployments. Afghanistan. In December 2009, the Czech Air Force members started to build up a rear for their new helicopter unit to be deployed in Afghanistan. After that, the first three modernized Mi-171 helicopters armed for self-defense with PKM machine guns were air transported to Afghanistan by Antonov and 124 Ruland transport aircraft on January 5, 2010. To the FOB Sharana Permanent Forward Operational Base, all helicopters and unit members numbering 110 soldiers were flown on January 17, 2010. The Czech helicopter unit known as Task Force Hippo was ranged under Alliance Regional Command East. TF Hippo entered ISAF operations on January 25, 2010. The first advisory group of the Czech Air Force was sent to Afghanistan in April 2008. Involved then there were members of the 231st at the time and the recent 221st Helicopter Squadron who have been tasked to participate in an establishment of the new Afghan National Army. As a part of the International Operational Mentoring and Liaison Team, they started to work as instructors during training of Afghan Mi-24 attack helicopter crews and in the same way to train ground personnel. A new Czech team was added to the deployment in 2010. The new Czech group consisted of pilots and technicians from the 243rd Helicopter Squadron, respectively from the 24th Transport Air Base at Prague KBELY. The main task of KBELY-AMT section has been defined as air training of Afghan Mi-17 per Mi-171 transport helicopter crews. The Czech Republic also provided a material help to Afghan Air Force which included supplies of aviation equipment, a Euro 6 Mi-17 transport helicopters and 6 Mi-24 attack helicopters. After selected helicopters underwent major overhauls and modernizations, all have been presented to the Afghan National Army during the 2007 to 2009. == The Czech Republic first joined the BAP mission from May 1 until August 31, 2009 when 4 Gripen contingent was based in Baltic region. The second mission of the task force took place from September 1, 2012 until January 4, 2013. The main task of the Baltic Air Policing 2012 mission was to ensure protection of the airspace over the land and water territory of the 3 Baltic states, Latvia, Lithuania and Estonia. The whole mission was a part of NATO, operating from the Angstrom Air Base in Lithuania. Remaining Czech Air Force Gripens were also in a 24/7 readiness on their home base at Oislav. As in 2009, also during the 2012 Baltic mission, the targets of Alpha scrambles were Russian military aircraft that failed to observe the flight rules of the civilian air corridors. Sinai Peninsula == One of the most important tasks of the Czech military transport aviation in recent years is to provide support to the international MFO peace mission at the Sinai Peninsula. A small unit with one transport C-295M turboprop belonging to the equipment of the 24th Transport Air Base at Prague KBELY has operated there since early November 2013 and contributes to the surveillance and monitoring the peace agreement between Egypt and Israel. The command of the MFO already asked the Czech side for extending its stay for the coming years 2015 and 2016. Ukraine In relation to the 2014 pro-Russian unrest in Ukraine, government of the Czech Republic decided to provide help to Ukrainian people. The first large-scale evacuation took place on February 27, 2014, when 2 aircraft departed the 24th Transport Air Base at Prague KBELY for Kiev, Ukraine. The A319CJ was fitted with 2 PTUs and 2 stretchers. The C-295M carried 1 PTU and 12 stretchers. The aircraft brought 27 Ukrainian citizens to the Czech Republic. Medical care was provided during the flight by a team of military medical personnel from the Center of the Aviation Rescue Service at PLZEA Lana and from the Central Military Hospital in Prague. The second Medevac mission took place on March 6, 2014, when 1 C-295M brought to the Czech Republic further 11 wounded persons. Structure: High Command of the Czech Air Force, Euro Headquarters in Prague, 21st Tactical Air Force Base Vojenska Euro Oislav, 211th Tactical Squadron, Euro 14 JAS 39CD Gripen, 212th Tactical Squadron, Euro 19 L159 AALCA, 213th Training Squadron, Euro 6 L159 T1 ALCA, 4 L39ZA. 22nd Helicopter Airbase Biskupska Nama Angstrom Sayen Nadoslava 221st Helicopter Squadron Euro 17 miles 35, 4 miles 171 222nd Helicopter Squadron Euro 12 miles 171 24th Transport Airbase TG Mazarica Euro Prague Euro KBELY 241st Transport Squadron Euro 2A319 CJ 1 Centiliter-601-3A, 1 Yak 40 and 1 Yak 40K, 242nd Transport and Special Squadron Euro 4 CASAC 295, 6L410FG UVPE, 243rd Helicopter Squadron Euro 4 MILMI 8, 5 miles-17, 10 W3A, PLZEA Lanarmasea Detachment Euro W3A. 25th Air Defence Missile Regiment Tobruka 1/2 Euro Strakanisa Euro 2K12, S10M and RBS 70, 26th Air Command, Control and Surveillance Regiment Euro Stara Boleslav, Pardubice Airfield Authority, Flight Training Center Pardubice, operating 1 EV-97, 8 Z-142 CAF, 1 Zlin Z-142, 1 Zlin Z-43, 7 L-39C. 6 miles-2, 1 L410 UVPS, 1 L410 UVPT and 6 miles-17, is not a part of the Air Force. Primary flight training was outsourced as of April 1, 2004. CLV is a branch of LOMPRAHASP, state-owned company. Aircraft Current inventory Types recently retired from Czech service include Antonov An-26 decommissioned by April 2011 being replaced by the C-295M, Tupolev Tu-154M Kerala serial number 1003 and 1016 have been out of service since November 2007 being replaced by the Airbus A319CJ. Aero L-29 Delphin single-engine jet trainer, predecessor of L-39, Antonov An-30 Clank photo version of An-2428 series, Mikoyan Gurovic MiG-21 latest versions used for NATONAD service until replaced by Gripens, Mikoyan Gurovic MiG-23, Sukhoi Su-22 ground attack aircraft, export version of the Sukhoi Su-17, Sukhoi Su-25 close air support aircraft, Antonov An-24V light transport turboprop, predecessor of Antonov An-26 Curl. Insignia, the first Czechoslovak military aircraft bore, for a short time between September and November 1918, three-color roundel, from the middle, red, blue and white. From November 27, 1918 it was replaced with slanted parallel lines in these colors. From 1920 they were replaced with an inverted roundel, from the middle, white, blue and red. From December 21, 1921 national insignia on aircraft became rectangular national flags. Finally, in December 1926 a current roundel of three parts in white, red and blue, was adapted. It remained the insignia of the Czech Air Force until today, although in recent years, a low-visibility variant, all in grey, was adapted in some applications. References. External links, Global Security Entry, Official Czech Army site, Book about JAS Gripen in Prague, Photo galleries of the Czech Air Force, photo at photoplanes.com, transcript of Czech Parliament concerning MiG-29 exchange with Poland.